Arthur lived a simple life, a small house on Elm Street. He kept to himself, neighbors knew little, he worked at the library, books, his only companions. The year was 1978, disco was king. Arthur preferred quiet. Classical music soothed him, Bach his favorite. He'd spend evenings reading, sipping tea, lost in another world. Life was predictable until it wasn't. The day started like any other. Arthur woke early, made breakfast, toast and tea. He walked to work, the familiar scent of old books. He greeted Mrs. Henderson at the front desk, her cat brooch a source of amusement. Work was uneventful, shelving books, assisting patrons. An elderly woman asked for help, finding a book on gardening. Arthur knew just the one. He closed the library late that night, no sense of the strange events to come. The next morning, Mrs. Henderson arrived at the library, only to find the door locked. This was highly unusual, as Arthur was never late. He was known for his punctuality and dedication to the library. Mrs. Henderson tried to peer through the windows, but the curtains were drawn, and she couldn't see anything inside. Concern grew as the hours passed. Mrs. Henderson paced back and forth, glancing at her watch repeatedly. The usually bustling library was eerily silent, and the absence of Arthur was palpable. She decided to wait a bit longer, hoping he would show up. Finally, unable to shake off the growing sense of dread, someone decided to call the police. The operator assured them that help was on the way. Within minutes, a police car arrived, its siren piercing the quiet morning. The police officers broke into the library, the air thick with dread and anticipation. The interior was dimly lit, casting long shadows that added to the eerie atmosphere. They moved cautiously, their flashlights cutting through the darkness. There, in the center of the room, was Arthur. He was sitting upright in a reading chair, as if he had been frozen in time. His posture was unnaturally stiff, and he didn't respond to the officers' calls. His eyes were wide open, a look of astonishment frozen on his face. It was as if he had seen something beyond comprehension, something that had left him in a state of perpetual shock. But it was the oddity that chilled them to the bone. The scene was surreal, almost otherworldly. The library, usually a place of order and quiet, now felt like a stage set for a bizarre play. Arthur was surrounded by books. They were not just scattered around him, they were meticulously arranged. Hundreds of them, stacked high in a perfect circle around him. The precision of the arrangement was unsettling, as if it had been done with a purpose. It was as if the books had fallen from the sky, landing in an impossibly perfect formation. The mystery of how they got there, and why, hung heavily in the air. Section 4. Whispers Turn to Fame. In the quiet town of Millfield, whispers often carried more weight than shouts. This was especially true when it came to the mysterious death of Arthur, the town's beloved librarian. News of Arthur's bizarre demise spread like wildfire. The headline "Librarian's Bizarre Death" was on everyone's lips, and the shockwaves were felt far beyond the town's borders. Small-town gossip became national news. Reporters swarmed Elm Street, eager to uncover any detail. Neighbors, once private, found themselves in the spotlight, their every word scrutinized. The mystery deepened with each passing day. The coroner found no cause of death. It was as if Arthur had simply ceased to exist. No medical explanation could be found, leaving everyone baffled. No signs of struggle, no foul play. Theories abounded: a freak accident, a bizarre suicide. The lack of answers only fueled the speculation. Some whispered of the supernatural. Tales of ghostly apparitions and cursed books began to circulate. The library, once a place of knowledge, became a source of fear. Arthur's story captivated the public. People from all walks of life were drawn to the enigma. The quiet librarian's life and death became a topic of national intrigue. The quiet librarian became an overnight sensation. His face, once known only to the townspeople, was now recognized by millions. His image, surrounded by books, appeared in newspapers and on television screens. The media couldn't get enough of the story, and neither could the public. His death, a mystery for the ages. The unanswered questions and eerie circumstances ensured that Arthur's story would be remembered for generations to come. Section 5. A Legacy of the Strange. Years have passed, yet the mystery remains. The passage of time has done little to dull the intrigue surrounding Arthur's story. Each tick of the clock, each turn of the calendar page only seems to deepen the enigma. Arthur's house, left untouched, became a macabre tourist attraction. Visitors from all over would come to see the place where the quiet librarian met his untimely end. The house, with its overgrown yard and eerie silence, stood as a testament to the strange events that transpired within its walls. The library saw an influx of visitors. People who had never set foot in a library before were now drawn to this one, eager to uncover any clues that might explain the mystery. The once quiet aisles were now filled with the whispers of curious minds, all drawn to the story of the man who died surrounded by books. They pored over old texts, hoping to find some hidden message or forgotten lore that might shed light on Arthur's fate. The books, once mundane, now held a certain mystique. Was it a freak accident? An unexplained phenomenon? Theories abounded, each more fantastical than the last. Some believed it was a curse, others thought it was the work of some malevolent force. But no matter how much they speculated, the truth remained elusive. No one can say for sure. The questions outnumbered the answers, and the more people tried to understand, the more baffling the mystery became. It was as if the truth was just out of reach, always slipping through their fingers. But one thing is certain: Arthur, the quiet librarian, achieved an unusual kind of fame. In life he was a man of few words, content to lose himself in the pages of a book. In death, he became a legend, his story told and retold by those who sought to understand the inexplicable. His life, once ordinary, became a tale whispered in hushed tones. The quiet librarian who lived a life of solitude was now the subject of countless stories, each one adding to the mythos that surrounded him. His legacy, though strange, was undeniable. A reminder that even in the quietest corners of the world, the strange and unknown can find us. Arthur's story serves as a testament to the fact that mystery and intrigue can lurk in the most unexpected places, waiting to be discovered by those who dare to look.